NBC5 News at 6 starts now.
More than 5 years after a fatal hit-and-run shook Cave Junction, the driver's been identified, but through a legal loophole, he won't be facing charges. Good evening, and thank you for choosing NBC5 News at 6. I'm Craig Smolin.
And I'm Kristen Hosfeld. In October of 2013, two men, Jared Houston and Robert Calvin, got into a fight along Highway 199. Moments later, they were hit and killed by a car. Tonight, the driver is being identified by the DA's office, but he won't be facing charges because the statute of limitations on his alleged crimes has already expired. NBC5's Amanda Rose joins us live in studio with more on this shocking story. Amanda?
Correct, Kristen. Both victims' families have been hoping and praying every year since 2013 that someone would come forward. Today, I spoke with Jared Houston's sister, Sarah. Although she says she's happy to finally have some answers, it still doesn't feel like closure because the man the DA says is responsible isn't being charged.
Knowing that in his mind that he was going to keep this from my family, and that he's still not going to have any kind of punishment like that, that's what hurts the most.
Many in the community of Cave Junction and beyond remember a deadly hit and run nearly 6 years ago.
I saw my friend in the middle of the road.
Back in October of 2013, 41-year-old Robert Calvin and his girlfriend were walking along the highway when 21-year-old Jared Houston drove toward them. Investigators say Calvin swung a grocery bag in the direction of the car, and Houston turned his car around and came back. That's when things got physical.
If Jared Houston had not been on top of Robert Calvin in the southbound lane of travel on Highway 199 in the middle of the night in October, then neither Jared Houston nor Robert Calvin would be dead.
But the case ran cold. The victims' families and friends desperately seeking answers for years.
If you can imagine the worst thing that you've ever seen, this is it.
But last December, a woman came forward saying she was a passenger in the truck that hit the men. The DA's office says a month later, the alleged driver, 43-year-old Jesse Coley, confessed to the crime after first lying to investigators.
If he had stayed and done the things he needed to do under Oregon law, stayed there, told law enforcement what happened, etc., it's very unlikely that he would have been subject to any criminal charges.
Josephine County District Attorney Ryan Molken says once Coley didn't report his involvement, he would have likely faced charges if he'd come forward. But now the statute of limitations on the crimes, failure to perform the duties of a driver, and criminally negligent homicide has expired. Since it's been more than 3 years since the crimes, neither Coley nor anyone else will be charged with the crimes in the case.
Law enforcement is reliant on citizens to come forward with accurate information regarding crimes that occur in a timely fashion.
The news not easy to take for the people who love Jared Houston and Robert Calvin.
It's forgivable to have done the act because accidents happen, and I get it, and I've in my heart the whole time, planned to forgive him.
For Jared Houston's sister Sarah and her family, who's held out hope for years, it doesn't feel like closure.
The keeping quiet part is the unforgivable part, especially knowing that he was going to keep quiet had the woman never come forward.
The DA says Coley told investigators last month that he returned to the scene of the accident that night. He told a firefighter that he thought he had hit a deer. The firefighter told him 2 people had been killed. When the firefighter didn't understand what he meant, Coley said he left the scene. Live in studio, Amanda Rose, NBC5 News.